No. What you mean?
Say that again.
She wouldn't be divorcing him, would she?
Why would she not?
Why would she not? Right. You
She
trying to be
leaving
funny,
right
David.
there.
you trying to be funny because he could be doing all kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
He could be
Or they
cheating
could-
on her, everything.
That could be any reason.
Right.
But she stayed at home.
Just because she stayed at
she
home and
stayed
took
at
her to
home.
carry the cows don't mean that she stayed married.
Turn your mic off, David.
Listen.
Okay, so I'm going to roll right into my next question. Some cultures believe in having multiple wives. Do you think American culture should adopt this practice?
Again, it goes back to people doing what they want to do. And then, like you said, you got the religious, certain religious beliefs where people do have multiple wives. But I mean, if that's what works for them, that's what works for them. I don't think so. Adopting it, I don't think so.
I have no desire to share my money.
I don't either.
None whatsoever.
What's mine is mine.
However, and
that goes back to the business side because a lot of them have multiple wives from the business perspective so that they can go ahead.
yeah, I mean,
So
going
everybody
back
ain't
to the
struggling.
ideal
They
that
pulling
we
their
talked
resources together.
about religion and how marriage is connected to religion in the Bible. Folks
The
had
Bible
all
says.
kinds of wives. They had all kinds of wives. They was marrying
David
small
gonna tell you that was in the
children
Old
and-
Testament though.
Listen, it was in that book. So I'm just saying they had in biblical days they had multiple wives, and so if we are using the Bible as the rule book, then polygamy shouldn't be an issue. Again, back to what Natalie says, I totally agree. People do what is best for them. Decide what's best for you. It ain't best for me. It won't happen in my house. However, I could not say someone was right or wrong by doing it. If both individuals decided, if someone felt that, hey, I had to be in this relationship and he brought other people in or she brought other people in, I didn't have a choice, then I can see that being wrong. But if we decide, regardless of why I decided that, hey, he wants another person and I said yes, you chose that, and I'm okay with that.
Okay. There you go. David?
If I were to ever find another wife, I would love my wife. But I'm going to say that I understand why one would want multiple wives.
Which is?
Why?
Because y'all offer so many choices. It's kind of like a guy being married and having a girlfriend. That girlfriend is offering something that she's not at home.
Come on, man.
I mean, that's
saying.
true. No, I agree with you.
I'm just saying.
That's true.
Because
I've heard that.
I mean, I've heard that from y'all continuously about being submissive, not being submissive. Well, if you get this other wife or a girlfriend that's totally submissive and totally into you and just doing things like your wife did when she was your girlfriend, that could be attractive. So I get it.
So that's
I
why
get
you
it.
need
So you
multiple
got
wives.
a good wife, and then you got a good girlfriend, and then you got a good lover. So
Those three, yeah.
I think you could have
Three of 'em.
three and be completely happy. I wouldn't do it, but I understand. That's
Okay.
all I'm saying.
So do we
Okay.
go back to communication and being clear with my
Absolutely.
wife that, hey, when we first got
Absolutely.
married, before we got married, when we first started dating, you used to do that thing.
But that goes
And
back
now
to
you don't.
submission. That goes back to the
No,
submission
let's,
piece.
okay. So
That's not- what
let's
do you define
define
as
submission
As
because
submission.
everybody has
As-
different viewpoint or definitions of what submission means. Now, what people leave out of that Bible verse, because everybody wants to say, wives, submit to your husbands, but it also tells the husband to submit to the wife. So
It does.
it's co-submission. It ain't just her submitting to you, and we get stuck on the other side. And like I said, when we're on commercial break, that can lead to an unhealthy relationship where you have women staying in abusive situations and they don't need to be in. So when you talk about submission, that was Fantasia's whole thing of, there are a lot of women not married because we're not submissive. But what does that mean? What does submission mean? What does that mean?
Submission?
Yeah. What does that mean to you?
Give yourself to your husband.
In what
Husbands, give
aspect?
yourselves to your wives.
In what way?
In what way?
In every way. whatever you want.
But you can still do that and still have a man decide that he's going to go do something against the grain and still step outside the marriage.
But
you can have that submissive wife who's hanging from the chandelier, from the pole, doing everything that you want her to do, your lover and your friend. I'm
wants
just
to do
saying,
that,
cooking and cleaning, doing everything that y'all want done,
But see,
and they still step outside the marriage.
See, I mean, there's
So help me understand
fantasy stuff, and then there's reality.
But
You
said
just
that
said
with
that.
with the girlfriend and the
Right.
work wife and the wife around the corner and the
Hey.
little boo and the baby mama.
Hey.
So
Now, I know some freaks out there.
hey, they exist. But
They
my thing
exist.
my thing is, what is the significance of those folk if you have that at home? And
There's none. That's what I was saying.
okay, and so then does that constitute submission? Because she's doing the things that she did before.
Yes, it does. That constitutes submission. Yes. If they're agreeing to take care of one another at home, that's submissive.
It sounds like they're being submissive to each other. It does, but the way you are
Yes.
framing it sounds one-sided, and it sounds like
Okay, or-
woman do whatever I say.
Or the fella
Do this.
agreeing to do whatever she wants. Now this thing's it's a two-headed monster. Now y'all have needs and wants too, I'm
Indeed.
sure. You know what I'm saying? And your husband isn't quite, fulfilling those things, or your boyfriend or whatever it is, and we're too shy to talk about it. Too shy. How many of your men say, "Hey baby, what you want me to do?"
Rarely none.
Exactly. Nigga, he's too shy. I don't know what the problem is. They need to speak up. Because if they don't, you're going to have that. That's all I'm saying. People start stepping out.
I hear you. I don't believe that equates submission. I think for me, I think submission is the yielding to allow someone to lead. I think that in a relationship, not marriage, in relationship, I think at different times someone has to take the lead for whatever
Absolutely.
reason.
Absolutely.
And in a marriage, I believe that someone should take the lead, and that may not always be the same person all the time.
For sure.
And I also believe that in connection with another person, a woman can submit to her husband, but it doesn't have to be the way that we see it in this, I come 2 steps behind you, and
No.
or doing all this because he has this fantasy that you're swinging from the chandeliers, or all the things that you were just saying that the girl.
You said from the chandelier.
I actually didn't.
That must
but
be
I
something.
it.
Swinging.
She said it.
But when
Didn't
you
say
say
it.
your
Swing.
lover, that's
You swing.
But I mean, what is?
Swing from
But these
chandeliers.
ideals of what these other people are
I'll
doing.
get on the pole.
You like the pole?
I'll get on the pole.
That's what's up.
There's nothing wrong with any of the things. Any of the things, all the things are welcome. However, the woman that's doing all the things that because you like them, just
Yeah.
because you like them don't mean you're getting it. Same thing for the other way around.
Yeah.
And I think it's that communication that we lost track of where we were, where we used to be.
Yeah.
And if you had ventured out to have the work wife and the wife around the corner and the boo and all the other things,
Yeah.
I think you likely have escaped or averted having that conversation and the dialogue with the woman you've been in covenant with, under God or otherwise.
Nat, do me a favor real quick. Everybody on Facebook. I was going to say, somebody look up the word covenant. To put some context to it, because, we didn't really establish what that meant.
Yeah.
So if somebody
Which
can.
word are we looking up?
Covenant.
Okay.
Says an agreement.
An agreement.
That's it.
all
So
it is.
spiritual
Spiritual agreement.
spiritual agreement. Basically. That could either be
So is spiritual like something that's made up, or is that based on anything?
I think spiritual is based on what you two people decide.
So
Because spiritual doesn't mean religious.
So what is a spirit though?
Look up the word spiritual.
Okay. Google.
Just
What
asking.
Google say?
'Cause we want to throw these
What
words
Google
out
say?
here, and they don't mean
What
nothing.
Google
Then why
say?
are you using them?
For me, spiritual doesn't mean tied to any religion. That's just what I think.
What's
But
a spirit? I'm just curious.
Relating to
Hey,
or
Siri.
affecting the human spirit or soul.
What is a spirit?
No, I said
opposed-
spiritual. We said spiritual.
That's
Now
right.
what is a spirit?
Relating to
A spirit is a supernatural being,
Okay, that's a spirit. Spiritual is
Spiritual.
relating to or affecting the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things.
Read that
And
again,
the
Natalie.
second, but there's a second.
Okay,
one.
what's the second one?
Relating to religion or religious belief. But the first one was relating to or affecting the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things.
So an agreement that affects my soul, basically,
Which goes
It
back to my
doesn't-
ideal of the connection
not
between two
tied.
souls.
Between
Yes,
two-
connection. It goes
exactly
back to
what
her.
you said,
It's not
exactly.
tied to any religious denomination. In essence, it's bigger
I agree.
because we got 1,000 different religions that says marriage is
You're talking
defined.
about denomination, though. We're
No, I ain't talking about
Beyond
no, but not
denomination,
beyond
just religion.
just religion.
religion.
We got more
That's
than.
Religion is just politics.
But I'm saying
Yeah.
there's more than one religion. Do you got Christianity?
way
You got
more.
Islam. You got
Right,
Buddhism.
but
You got
when we speak of
Hinduism.
spiritual, what are we speaking to, though?
I think spiritual is the overarching sense of acknowledging that there's a higher power.
Okay, and what do we call that higher power?
Whatever you decide.
Whatever you decide, because
Whatever.
not
So-
everybody calls a God.
Because I don't call it God.
What do you
And
call
so
Some people call it creator.
spirit and energy. So I don't believe that. I believe religion is created, and I believe we can create our own religions, and you can. We can believe the same thing, and that's how you get all the denominations under certain religions.
religions.
And so I don't. I have all my life. So I'm 33, 4. So for 30, I'm grown. And so
Well,
for 33 years, I've called it God, and I don't anymore. And so I truly believe in the divinity of each of you as well in myself, and so I respect my divinity and I respect yours, which is why we can have this conversation.
Absolutely.
And I may or may not agree, but can see the understanding and your perspective in
Absolutely.
it. And so I see spirit as being in connection with energy and your greatest self. And so my greatest self connects with your greatest self, and we are in covenant, and we decide to maybe to agree to get legal papers drawn up for marriage. And that's just to abide by man-made rules, by government. It has absolutely nothing to do with God unless I decide it does.
Yeah.
If I say, hey, we're going to get married under God in a church by the pulpit with a pastor,
Yeah, yeah.
then we choose to, and then we've agreed, made an agreement to attach God to it.
To it.
But doesn't require it.
yeah, and I think from the business
well
side, because we are running out of time, I think from the business side, I'm not gonna get married and be in the same place financially I was when I got married. I feel like when
What?
two people, what I'm saying is,
Agreed.
I'm not
I
gonna get
agree.
married and then I gotta struggle because
Yeah.
all my check is going towards paying all
Well,
your
not
child
necessarily
support.
saying the struggles
Listen,
don't happen.
I'm not
either.
saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying
Because
it
they
doesn't
will.
happen. Right. But what I'm saying is, as a woman
Oh,
at
Lord.
42 years old, y'all can disagree or not, I'm not going to get married, and my husband financially is not contributing to the table.
Would you check credit before you got married?
Why not?
Yeah, I need to know what your
Just a
credit look like.
question.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, because
think
if I
it's-
want a house, we want our
You
dream
have
house.
goals and things that you
Yeah,
want
I
to
think it's a
accomplish.
great
So I
idea.
think it's important.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I would go through a rigorous pre-qualification progress.
Right.
And I think that's if you're doing like the male bride, so like you get and not knocking it, but if you say, hey, yep, we're gonna go get married right now, but let's run your credit, let's see what you're doing, what your bank look like, and so let me check it real quick, pre-qualify for let you drive off the lot with me. So we're not buying cars,
I would.
but I mean in relationship, I mean if you're doing it that fast in a transaction, but in relationship, hopefully there is the conversation. Hopefully you guys have had the conversations about, hey, where are my finances at? Or, hey, where's your mental at? Like, what do you believe? Do you believe in God? Because I do. And so I believe that we should be doing things this way, and you don't. And so maybe we won't be spiritually aligned. So those conversations should be happening ongoing. And that open communication so that you don't get to the wedding and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know he got blah, 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 or she has or don't have X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So for our last question, because we have come to the end of the road,
Oh, man.
I know I'm
is
gonna
sad.
have to
We
do
need
a
a
part
part
two.
two.
I'm definitely have to do a part two.
This was
So
fun.
the last question is, what are the greatest benefits of marriage? What would you say the greatest benefits of marriage are, Jennifer?
Sex and connection.
I was just gonna say,
Okay.
being able to be spiritually connected to that person that you know,
Okay, you
that
said
you are
sex and
I said
connection.
spiritually
sex and
aligned
connection.
with,
Yeah, I like that.
and the sex,
Okay.
hanging from chandeliers and stuff.
Yeah, and pose.
Pose.
David,
Check.
what would you say the greatest benefits of marriage are?
For me, it's legacy, really. You know, kids, legacy,